Number one on my list of ridiculously cheap motorcycle must-haves is this Velcro strap. The Velcro strap is so handy, in fact, that I keep it right there on my right mirror, whether I'm on this bike or if I'm on the police Harley. I keep it there so I can find it in the event that I need it in an emergency. What am I talking about? I got 3 good uses for this Velcro strap, and that's only the first item in this list. We haven't met. I'm Justin Barker. I'm a full-time motor officer and accident investigator, and I want to see that you make it home safe on your next ride. That's what this channel is all about. So in this video, we're covering these cheap motorcycle must-haves, and these are a few things that I like to keep with me on a ride, and I keep on the police bike, and I keep on personal bikes that I ride. Number one is that Velcro strap, and the way I use it is I will put it around the front brake lever and keep that front brake squeezed in the event that I tip the bike over in an unfavorable condition. Like if I tip the bike over in grass or on wet asphalt, if I'm on an incline or a decline, any kind of situation like that I need extra stability for the bike while I lift it up, putting that around your front brake lever can give you some extra stability and some extra confidence when you're lifting the bike up in a condition like that. Another way, and probably the way I use it most often, and I'm talking about I use it like this a lot, is I'll put it on the clutch lever. So I'll put it on the clutch lever to keep the clutch lever secured. And the reason for that is after a long training session, and as motor officers, we train in the cones and stuff once or twice a month, and the bikes will get really hot. So we'll train for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll let the bikes take a rest. So while my bike is taking a rest, I'll put it around the clutch lever right here, and I'll keep that clutch lever squeezed, and it allows the clutch to cool quicker. So the reason for that is the clutch pack, if you don't already know, is made up of multiple different friction discs, and those discs are rubbing each other. I mean, you're in the friction zone. Friction creates heat, and by pulling the clutch lever in, separates those discs, and the clutch can cool more efficiently. And I'm a believer. I've started doing this, and I can definitely tell that the bike and then the clutch cools off quicker. It feels better once I get back on it after a rest break. So I highly recommend doing that. Another way I like to use it, or I like to be able to use it, is see the kickstand springs. So on the Harley, it is very exposed. And if you ever lay the bike over on the left side, and I guess that's a polite way of saying you drop it on the left, or whatever the case may be. I did something stupid myself. Right after rookie school, I tried to jump a curb. They teach us to hop over curbs in case we ever need to, but the curb I chose to go over was a little higher than I thought. So when I went to jump this curb, the Harley bottomed out, smushed the kickstand spring fell off, the bike stalled, and so did I. So it's kind of an embarrassing moment. So I try not to repeat embarrassing things like that. If you do what I did, or you lay the bike over on the left side, or you're trying to make a hard maneuver to the left and it goes wrong, and you drag the frame and that thing gets deformed, then you can actually tie that kickstand up out of the way using this Velcro strap. Because if the kickstand's not all the way up, it may not deactivate that sensor that in the bike may think that the kickstand's down, and obviously we don't need to ride around with our kickstands dragging. It can get you to a safe place so that you can repair it properly. That's 3 ways I like to use the Velcro strap. You can use them for tying gear down and other things, but those 3 things, that's why I keep it in such a handy location, because in the event that I actually do drop the bike, I want to be able to find it without having to search for it. And if I've got that thing thrown in my saddlebag somewhere, I'm never going to find it. So I keep it there knowing where it's at all times. Hey guys, real quick, if you support the channel's mission of helping riders like yourself make it home safe on their next ride, be sure to check these items out in the link in the description down below. Anytime you use any of those links, it'll take you straight to Amazon, lets them know that I sent you, and helps the channel out in a small way at no extra cost to you. So as always, ride safe, God bless. All right, next up on the list is tire plug kit. Yes, a tire plug kit. A lot of you guys out there have probably used such a kit. Some of you are going to be like, how do I use this? And the other of you are going to be like, okay, this is obvious, Barker. We know how to use a tire plug kit. So if you haven't ever used a tire plug kit, just look it up. I'm sure there's YouTube videos on it, but they're super simple to use and can get you out of a pinch. Because if you ever get a nail or something in your tire and you're doing a cross-country trip, it's going to take forever for a tow truck to get there. Like right now, I'm out in the country. If I were to try to call a tow truck out here, it would take them an hour and a half to get here. So a side note, I wanted to mention that a tire plug kit is meant to be a temporary fix, not a permanent solution. It's meant to get you off the side of the road, get yourself to a tire shop or a motorcycle shop so that you can get that patch from the inside so that you can continue to ride with confidence. So doing a tire plug kit can actually get you on the road quicker, but obviously you may be thinking, if I plug my tire, I still got to inflate it. What do I do then? Well, some people carry a can of Fix-It Flat. I don't recommend it because that stuff's nasty, gets all over the inside of the wheel, But these tire inflators, handy dandy tire inflators, have come a long way. These are not the ones that I used to remember that where you would plug them into like the cigarette lighter. I don't know why I'm calling it a cigarette lighter, but you plug into the 12 volt and it airs your tire up at like 2 PSI an hour or something. It's ridiculously slow. These things have come a long way. So you can get the ones that is about like a brick and you can carry it with you, and it has all sorts of different features. You can use it as a jump box. You can use it as a tire inflator. You can use it as a backup power supply for charging your phones or whatever if you get yourself in a tight. And the cool thing about it is you can get the little hose, put it on the valve stem, put in there how many PSI that the tire needs, hit the button, and it will top the tire off to that point and turn off. So really, really useful, even if you're just going to keep it in the garage, because you're always needing to air up bicycle tires and lawnmower tires and whatever. That's my case. So it's great, especially before your ride as you're doing your T-clocks and you're looking over the bike. If you want to stick that on there, don't even have to get your tire pressure gauge out. You can just stick this on here. It tells you what the PSI is. Hit the button if you got it set on there, what PSI goes in the tire, and you can be up and riding with confidence knowing that you got the right amount of pressure in your tire before you go on your ride. It was not very expensive at all. I think I paid like 60 something bucks for it off of Amazon, and it is a game changer. So be sure to check that out. Zip ties can come in handy in all sorts of situations. You can string them together to secure some gear if you lose a bungee strap or something. You can use them like I did for the kickstand to tie that thing up out of the way. If you got any loose wiring or a broken piece of plastic, you're always needing zip ties in some form or fashion if you go on a road trip. So get you some zip ties. They can take the place of these Velcro straps if you don't have one handy. Love zip ties. Keep those with you along with these straps and you'll be good as far as securement goes. All right, next thing that I've started doing, well, a few years ago I started doing, is hearing protection. I know some of you may roll your eyes and think, oh, I want to be able to hear my bike. But honestly, wearing hearing protection helps me to hear my bike better. Like, I can hear the sounds that I still need to hear while not losing my hearing. After a few years of riding full time, I started noticing that I was getting that ringing in my ears constantly. Whenever I was in a quiet place, I could hear this ringing, and I knew that was the beginning signs of some hearing loss. So what I decided to do was be proactive, reach out and find some hearing protection and hopefully head that off. So I did. There's several different companies that create motorcycle related hearing protection. That way you can still hear the sounds you need to hear while muting out some of the more harmful sounds. So I especially recommend it if you're a new or returning rider. And the reason is being out in traffic or on the interstate whenever you're a new rider can be a bit intimidating. All the traffic sounds, it feels like you're just standing out there in the middle of the interstate or something, or standing out there in the middle of the city with all the cars buzzing by. And that can add to your anxiety if you're a new rider. But if you get some hearing protection, you can mute those sounds down enough just to give yourself a little more confidence whenever you're out and about. So get yourself some hearing protection. It's not worth losing your hearing. The wind noise, the vehicle noise, the noise from your pipes, all of these things can wreak havoc on your hearing. So while we're talking about hearing protection, we're right there at eye protection. So I wear Oakleys mostly because they're impact resistant or impact rated, but I don't highly recommend Oakleys because they're not super comfortable. You see those stems they got on there? Those stems kind of hurt your head inside of a helmet. They're a little bit long. All of the motor guys that I know wear them, and we all like to match. But I've been meaning to try out Flying Eyes or one of these other brands that the YouTubers are always pushing. I'm not sponsored by Flying Eyes, and I've never tried them, but I might reach out just to see if they are worth all the hype. If you've got a pair of Flying Eyes, leave me a comment down below. I'd like to know if you think they're good or not. I'd like an unbiased, unsponsored opinion, if you know what I mean. So eye protection. If you're wearing something like Costas or anything with glass lenses, you're actually putting yourself in more harm than good, because those glass lenses, if you're ever in a crash or if you get hit in the face with something, it could shatter the glasses and get that glass in your eyes, and that's no good. And maybe you're thinking, what could I get hit in the face with while I'm riding? Well, a bird. I mean, I've known guys that's got hit in the face with a bird, or the car in front of you could throw up a piece of rubber. Keeping a full face helmet on, that obviously helps, but you're going to be raising that visor and you're going to have glasses on under there anyway, so you might as well have something that's got some impact rating. Don't forget about nights. We go out in the daytime and a lot of times we'll have this tinted visors on. We got our sunglasses on, and once it gets dark, guess what we're taking off? We're lifting the visor and we're taking the glasses off, and then our faces are even more exposed because We don't have anything covering our eyes. At the very least, keep you some safety glasses, some clear lens safety glasses. Keep the bugs out of your eyes and the debris out of your eyes at night, because the hazards are still there even though it's dark. So don't forget eye protection. On that same note with eye protection is something I keep in my saddlebag that you probably don't. That's an emergency eye wash kit. An emergency eye wash kit. Yes, it probably sounds like overkill, but once I was on a ride and the car in front of me tossed up some sand or something. I got some sand in my eyes or whatever it was, and I just about couldn't see there for about 5 minutes. I got over to the shoulder as quickly as I could, and I was reaching for my water bottle and sloshing it in my face and just trying to get some relief. And maybe you've been there before, but from that point forward, I knew I was going to keep some sort of eye wash station or eye wash kit with me. And so what I picked up was just, I don't know, it's maybe like $10 at your local drugstore. And all it is some saline solution with a little eye cup. You can fill that eye cup up and, rinse your eye out if you ever get yourself in that situation like I did. And I am so glad to have it. And there's that saying that says luck favors the prepared. Well, ever since I bought this, I've never had to use it since. So I'm glad to have it. Always keep it in my saddlebag, find room for it in yours, but maybe you won't ever have to use it. Consider having a jump box with you, especially if you're doing long trips. Somebody in your group, especially if you have a larger group, maybe you're the guy, is going to leave the switch on. And if you go in the restaurant and you're in there for an hour or so and you come back out and you've left your switch on, you may come back out to a dead bike that you can't start. And so you and your buddies are probably going to be pushing you through the parking lot trying to pop the clutch on that thing, trying to give yourself a jump start. But if you've got something with a DCT or you're riding some sort of automatic, maybe you don't have that luxury. So definitely keep yourself some sort of way to jump the bike off. And also know how to do it before you get yourself in that pickle. Knowing how to jump start your motorcycle gives you some peace of mind. So be sure to look into that. I hope these recommendations have helped you. Be sure to get them before you need them, because if you need them, it's going to cost you more not having them than it costs to buy them, even if it's something as expensive as a jump box or a tire inflator. Having the right equipment at the right time when you need it can shave hours and delay off of your trip. So look into that. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you on the next one.